Peace, everybody. I'm gonna make this quick video. Something that was on my mind to talk about tonight before I go in. I think black people in America are an absolute disgrace. I think we have no vision, collective vision. We have poor leadership. And I think we are living in the book of Exodus. In the book of Exodus, it talks about the children of Israel just entering Egypt because of Joseph was the president or the governor of Egypt. Let his family get in there. You know, go back and read the book of Genesis to see how Joseph became governor of Egypt. But it fast forwards many generations. First, when the children of Israel was in Egypt, they was treated like saviors because Joseph saved Egypt, made them extremely wealthy. But they became too large of a population, and it was growing too powerful. According to Pharaoh, he made a law that the women who had children must kill the firstborn men, or any male child must be killed. Abortion agenda. And then Moses was risen up to deliver their people out of Egypt. And we all know the 10 plagues. We all know about the Passover. We all know about Pharaoh drowning. But we're right now in the wilderness. When Moses and Aaron led the people to the wilderness, to the promised land, a massive amount of Israelites remembered Egypt. And they remember how well life as a slave in Egypt was compared to being free, eating manna in the middle of nowhere. No plumbing, no running water, no chicken, no trinkets, no beds. Also, no Egyptians. So they wanted to kill Moses to go back to Egypt. Every time a problem occurred, they always remembered Egypt. The memory of Egypt was our oppression. So what God did, he told Moses he's going to wait until all of the people who remember Egypt died off. And then he was going to lead their children into the wilderness. So they had to wait 40 years until all of the old folks died off. And then Aaron and Moses even had to die before Joshua was able to lead the children to the promised land and fight the Philistines. And then you have the book of Numbers that happens. Really, Joshua did Numbers. Really, I shouldn't have said Numbers. Judges. The book of Judges happened after Joshua. So, black Americans, we are living in those times right now. It was told to me years ago. Also, this is in the Supreme Wisdom of the Nation of Islam. Also, this is in the Message to the Black Man, that 25,000 years of history is written before it happens. So it's reverse. History don't happen and then we write it. We write it first and then it happened. The 25 elders write the 25,000 years of history prior to it happening. And you find out where you are in those 25,000 years because of the alignment, and also line upon line, precept upon precept. You will discover where you are in those 25,000 years of pre-written history. And we see how the black woman is involved in this abortion agenda, just like they were when they were in Egypt. And the same thing they did when they was in the wilderness, they still, and after the same thing happened when they got to the promised land, they still practiced abortion to some Canaanite demon. See what I'm saying? And these black people in America, For the last 150 years since we was delivered from slavery, the black leadership class has been trying to reintegrate and be accepted by the Pharaoh, the oppressor. They want equality with the oppressor. They want jobs with the oppressor. They do not want to be independent. They do not want to be free. You haven't saw any movement outside of the Nation of Islam, but they just talked about it. You never really saw a real movement of blacks in America to be free and independent. When we had the Freedmen's Bureau, the Negroes really went and advocated for the 14th Amendment to be citizens with their oppressor. And it was also written in the Bible that one day to God is 1,000 years. So if you multiply 365 days times 40, let's just say 300 times 40. That's 12,000. 12,000 times 1,000. That's 12 million years. That's an eternity that we're going to be in this wilderness. What is the solution? Because when these Negroes teach this talented tent philosophy, when they teach this gang philosophy, when they teach this the single mother, the black women who betrayed the family and their people for green pieces of paper with presidents on it, and they raise children as bastards, and the Bible says a bastard will not inherit the kingdom for 10 generations. They teach their children that life is all about getting money, and the love of money is the root of all evil. Now these bastards are out here robbing and jacking and killing, going to prison, being murdered. They have no future, no desire, no destination, no guidance. And not just a bastard. Really, if you think about 10 generations, slavery wasn't 10 generations. So we're all technically bastards. You know, you look at the fact that 40 years has to pass, and if you look at 40 years in God's years, that's 12 million years. And you look at the fact that most of the black people on the internet are talking about getting jobs, chasing white people, delineating from sovereign nations in Africa, sovereign nations in the islands, in the Caribbean. These people have sovereign nation. In America, we have no sovereign nation. We're still slaves in Egypt. You don't really hear anybody of prominence in the United States talking about severing our ties with the United States and becoming a sovereign, independent nation. You got some Negroes talking about joining the Indian tribe, getting a registration with an Indian tribe. These Indian tribes are subjects of the United States. That's not freedom. And these Indian tribes are usually controlled by white people, $5 Indians. We are totally and completely lost. We have there's no real vision for the future. The only vision that's collective is this notion that you're going to be equal in some type of system of justice with white people, so-called white people, the people who murdered your family, sold your family as slaves, traded you as property, wrote laws that you are not even human beings. You're going to think you're going to have some system of justice with these people? We are totally and completely lost. We're almost like the point in which when God decided to wipe the earth out, because the whole world, because the world means the nations. I learned that from the Israelites. You talk about the world, it means the nations. He said he repented making the earth. So God wanted to just wipe everything out because he saw it was hopeless. And he saw one man that was righteous. And he decided this is the only person that deserves to live. I'm looking at these black people in America and their mentality especially how they're somehow worshiping Joe Biden, the dude who did the most damage within the last 100 years to the black people. Joe Biden he's the Hitler of the black. He's the Hitler to us. What Hitler was to the Jews, Joe Biden is to us. With this abortion agenda, since Roe v. Wade, they say estimated between 30 and 50 million black children has been aborted under Joe Biden. So I think it's just totally and completely hopeless looking at these black people with their mentality similar to the mentality of the people that was in the wilderness. Every problem, we got to go integrate the black women. Is on Cynthia G talking about aborting black babies, running to the slave master, the oppressor, running to the one who destroyed you, who oppressed you. You think you're going to have solace and salvation doing that? There's no real independent spirit in the American Negro community. They're talking about FBA, this false, foolish sense of pride, talking about we're going to delineate and separate. You ain't even, for one, we don't really have any connection with Africa, because for the last 50 years, Negroes been talking about integrating and creating this deaf music, this hip hop music, this rap music that led us to the death and prison, drug dealing, prostitution, robbing and killing, materialism. This is the path that Negroes have been on for the last 60 years. It has been backward pedaling, backtracking, backsliding. There haven't really been much progress, and these African nations have surpassed the American Negro. They are independent nations. They are on a level that we should have been on if we had proper guidance. Instead of Dr. King marching for some poor people's march, marching for desegregation, should have been marching for us to be separate. All of that wealth and resources that they had before they threw it in the garbage after 1964, we're gonna take our ball and go home. That wasn't the direction, and the direction that we went on led to total and utter genocide, menticide, fratricide, parricide, all types of mass destruction that was self-imposed by the choices that the Negro have made. And we are in the book, the Bible. We're in that book. And at this point, we're still stuck in Exodus. And we look at decrepit leaders like Al Sharpton, Farrakhan holding on to that Joe Biden, Farrakhan talking about Day of Atonement, trying to hold hands and atone with the white people. The Negro leaders that's leading us is leading us to the pit, leading you backwards. If you're the victim, it's not your responsibility to right or wrong that the person who victimized you did. Is their responsibility. Why is the Negro always running, trying to rectify something with the so-called white man if the white man ain't trying to rectify nothing? You look silly. You look dumb. But that's about it.